Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fight It Out. Today we're going to take a look at League of Legends patch 4.1, the new patch being released January 15th that marks the start of Season 4. And believe me, there's a lot of stuff to look at. So, if you're like me, you don't really want to read all this stuff, we'll just give you the quick and dirty about what's going on. Starting with leagues, all the leagues are going to be reset within the next few days, but we don't really know much more than that. Vision changes, they're just making Vision better. They're just making it a little more responsive, a little more intuitive, so we'll see, hopefully, Vision be a little bit more how we would like it. Okay, we'll start with some champions, and of course we'll do alphabetical order, because Riot likes to put things in a nice, easy manner. Anivia, her attack speed animation's been increased, so hopefully that'll make CSing a little easier with her, because I know she's one of the hardest champs to CS with. The mana cost for her Q and W, Flash Frost and Crystallize, have been reduced, so that's a bit of a buff for her. Her ultimate now gives just a little indicator that she's at the maximum range of her ultimates. And the only person that can see that is the Anivia player themselves. So a nice little tool or tip for the Anivia player, just so they know what's going on with their ultimate. Annie, one of the most overpowered champs right now, and I say overpowered, but I kind of mean in the support position. Her passive, so her Pyromania, her stun, now scales rather than having a constant 1.75 second stun. It scales with level, so early games you'll have about half a second less stun, which is pretty good. And the cooldown on her ultimate Tibbers has been reduced to the values you see below, instead of being at 120 seconds for all ranks. So that's probably not good for late game opponents. Evelynn, she's got a bit of a nerf, I think. Her Q, her heat spike, had the missile speed's been reduced, so again, just the animation. Ravage, the damage has been changed to physical, so that kind of reduces her burst potential mid-game, whereas before it was magic damage. And her ultimate, Agni's Embrace, now grants the shield instantly, rather than waiting half a second after the ability's been cast. Janna got a bit of a buff, I think, to her ultimate, so it channels immediately and only lasts 3 seconds, so the healing is more immediate. The heal has been increased as well, and both the per second and the total amount. Jinx, in general, her base health has been reduced to 462 from 500, and her health per level has been increased by 2. Her Flame Chompers, they arm at 0.7 seconds rather than the scaled value that they had. There was this little bug where they didn't activate sometimes when they were being dashed over, but that apparently has been fixed. And the damage has been reduced at earlier levels. Nasus Wither range has been reduced again. I think in the last patch it was reduced, and it's been reduced once more. And his ultimate no longer increases the cast range of Wither and Spirit Fire, so that's good for all you people that fear Nasus top lane. Rengar. We mentioned that in the PvE patch, his Savagery was going to get nerfed, which it did, so he only has 2 seconds to use his next basic attack after Savagery. And there's been some bugs that allowed him to use Savagery more frequently than intended, and those have also been ironed out. Also, his W, his Battle Roar, or the Empowered Battle Roar, that is, has kind of taken a nerf. It's not going to provide as big of a healing as before. Riven also seemed to have taken a little bit of a nerf, but, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Her basic attack's been reduced by 2.7. Well, her attack damage per level has been increased by 0.3. Her Q, Broken Wings, the damage has been reduced per level, and the scaling also has been reduced. Valor's shield duration has been reduced by a second. So I don't know, overall I'd say it was kind of a nerf for Riven. Shyvana, all of the things for Shyvana have been reduced. Her burnout, the damage has been reduced. The minimum and the maximum damage also have been reduced. Her flame breath has been reduced, and her R the tooltip shows the proper damage that it actually does. So Shyvana players, everyone that's complaining Shyvana was OP, she's been hit pretty hard. But again, we'll just wait and see how it goes. Thresh, Dark Passage. Now the lantern has a little indicator that allows people to know, hey, this is clickable if you didn't know already. And also the lantern has a bit of a collision radius, so you might get some, kind of how you get creep blocked, you might get lantern blocked every once in a while. And the box, the wall formation has been increased by 1/4 of a second. Maybe will have an impact, but if you're an average player like me, you won't even notice. Yasuo, let's see, what happens to Yasuo? He now properly applies 10% crit strike damage reduction to static shiv crits, and the functionality of his E, Sweeping Blade to Q, Steel Tempest combo, it works a little better. Steel Tempest, his Q is also now automatically a smart cast. Wind Wall has been fixed so it doesn't block friendly Syndra orbs. And his ultimate, Last Breath, grants maximum flow. Its animation was shortened a little bit, and then a couple bugs have been fixed with that as well. So those are the big champion changes. There's a few minor fixes for some champs, and we'll just go through those quickly. Caitlyn's Ace in the Hole, the animation now is a little more easily understandable. So if a target dies while she's cast it, the projectile will disappear, and you'll kind of know when your ultimate has actually hit its target or has not, or things like that. Again, we mentioned in the PvE patch that Darius's ultimate Noxian Guillotine, the cooldown has been increased to 20 seconds from 12. Fiddlesticks Terrify, there was a bug where enemies would kind of flee in a straight line rather than random directions, so that's been fixed. Fiora, has been a fix where she was able to teleport while casting her Blade Waltz. Hecarim's heal in his Spirit of Dread now matches the tooltip properly. Jarvan also had a small bug fixed, as well as Lux. Lux's cooldown on her ult now begins after the ult animation has completed rather than when it begins. Malzahar, his ultimate now halts the movement of anyone that is being moved by friendly effects of dashes and jumps and whatnot. So he should be able to lock down targets much more efficiently. Nami, just like Lux, her ultimate, now the cooldown doesn't start until after the ultimate has been finished cast rather than when it's initially cast. Nidalee, her traps aren't placed in walls anymore. If a Nidalee player tries to place a trap relatively close to a wall, it'll just kind of place it somewhere within the castable range as close as to the position that it was clicked. Olaf, his slow's been reduced. Talion's Cutthroat Teleport is now, you go slightly further behind the target. And TF's wildcards, targeting indicators have been updated to show the individual targeting lines. So those are all the champion updates. There's a few item updates, not tons, but we'll just go through them really quick. Rabadon's Death Cap now shows the increased ability power you gain from its unique passive. Spirit Visage's cooldown has been reduced by 10%. Sunfire Cape's magic damage has been changed. Rather than 40 damage constantly, it's been changed to 25 plus the character level. So that might make it not as efficient to buy early game. Jungle items. All the items that Spirit Stone itself and Spirit Stone builds into now give 8% damage dealt to monsters is received as health and 4% as mana. None of these items have the health and mana regen anymore, and they also do not. The Spirit Stone doesn't have the MAME passive. One thing to note, the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith now grants 2 ability power for every large monster kill, with a max of 30. So that's great news for AP junglers. As they go through jungle camps killing large creeps, they're going to gain AP. So watch out next season for AP junglers that are going to be super strong. The only other changes are a few to some of the maps and some of the items specific to certain maps, such like the Crystal Scar, Twisted Tree Lines, things like Blackbar Torch, Wicked Hatchet. So we're not going to really go through those because who really plays much of 3v3 or Dominion? But I'll just leave them up on the screen right there for you to take a quick look at. And there's a few more down here. And again, they're just minor changes. Nothing to be concerned about. And one last thing, new player experience. New players will get a nice champion pool to select from. So they don't have to just go with your basic free-to-plays. So folks, that's it for today. Looking forward to playing when the patch gets released later today, and hopefully we'll see how Season 4 pans out. And you know that probably within 3 or 4 days there'll be another patch to fix anything that kind of seems a little broken or unbalanced due to the new patch. So hopefully you have a good day, and I'll see you on the fields of justice.